In today's shocking news, Donald Trump and his ally Pete Hegseth have delivered a blow to the U.S. Navy that few saw coming. This sudden shakeup is not just another political move, it's a decision that could ripple through the military at a critical time for America's national defense. What happened has left many stunned, with critics warning that this could destabilize the Navy at its core. Let's break down how this happened, why it matters, and what it means for the American people. Donald Trump's time in leadership has been marked by controversial decisions, many of which have created real hardships for ordinary families. Across the country, people are already struggling with rising living costs, skyrocketing grocery bills, and increasing utility prices. Electricity is climbing at nearly double the rate of inflation. Vegetables, once affordable, have risen by almost 40%. Families at the checkout line see higher grocery prices than they have in years. And at the center of it all is the ongoing healthcare crisis. Many Americans are watching their monthly health insurance premiums jump by hundreds of dollars. A family of 4 could easily be paying $300 more per month just to keep their current plan. For small business owners, retirees, or taxi drivers, those extra costs mean impossible choices, paying for health care or keeping the lights on. And while families are forced to make sacrifices, Trump's administration has found billions of dollars for bailouts and foreign aid. There was enough money for a $50 billion tariff bailout. There was enough money for international deals like those with Argentina. But somehow there's never enough money for ordinary Americans who are footing the bill. That frustration has been simmering for years, but now it has collided with something even more alarming, a direct shakeup of the U.S. Navy's leadership. Just days before the Navy's historic 250th anniversary, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, with Trump's backing, abruptly fired Navy Chief of Staff John Harrison. This wasn't a minor figure within the Pentagon. Harrison was known as one of the most powerful and influential officials within the Navy, playing a major role in reshaping how the institution operated. His removal stunned insiders who recognized the scale of his influence over Navy leadership and decision-making. The Pentagon's announcement about his dismissal was short and vague. The official statement simply said that Harrison would no longer serve as Chief of Staff to the Secretary of the Navy and that the department was grateful for his service. The lack of detail raised more questions than answers, especially given the timing of the decision. It came immediately after the Senate confirmed a new Undersecretary of the Navy, Hung Cao, a Navy veteran, political candidate, and outspoken Trump ally. This timing is no coincidence. By firing a powerful internal figure and replacing him with a loyal political supporter, Trump and Hegseth are clearly consolidating control at the top of the Navy. It's a move that signals a larger strategy, removing figures who might question or resist their agenda and installing allies who will follow it without hesitation. For Trump's critics, this is nothing less than an attempt to reshape one of America's most vital institutions to fit his political goals. They warn that weakening Navy leadership during a time of global tension could put national security at risk. Supporters of Trump, however, see this differently. They argue that Harrison was part of an entrenched bureaucracy resistant to change, and his removal clears the way for new energy and fresh leadership aligned with the president's vision. To them, the appointment of a loyal Navy veteran like Hung Cao is a long overdue correction in a system bogged down by red tape and internal politics. Whether one agrees or not, the reality is that this sudden and dramatic shift will change the balance of power inside the Navy for years to come. The timing of these moves is particularly striking. The Pentagon is already grappling with the fallout from Trump's unprecedented orders at a recent gathering of nearly 800 top generals and admirals. That event left many questioning how far Trump's administration might go in reshaping America's military institutions. With tensions rising globally and the U.S. facing complex security challenges, the leadership shakeup inside the Navy adds even more uncertainty. To understand why this is so alarming, it helps to step back and look at the broader picture. The U.S. Navy has always been a symbol of strength, independence, and continuity. Its leadership is designed to remain steady even when politics change in Washington. Abruptly firing a key official, especially one who played such an outsized role in decision-making, breaks that sense of stability. It signals to service members, allies, and adversaries alike that the Navy itself is being pulled into political games. At the same time, ordinary Americans are still dealing with the real-life effects of Trump's economic policies. The healthcare crisis has not gone away. Families continue to face impossible costs for coverage. Groceries, fuel, and electricity bills weigh heavily on households. And now, at the very moment when many people feel vulnerable at home, the administration has injected instability into the military. Critics argue that this pattern is consistent. Trump has repeatedly shown that he prioritizes loyalty and control over long-term stability. Whether it's in the economy, healthcare, or now the armed forces, decisions are made not to strengthen institutions, but to consolidate power. The firing of Harrison and the appointment of Hung Cao is only the latest example of this trend. For the Navy, this could have wide-ranging consequences. A sudden change in leadership can affect everything from readiness and training to morale among officers and sailors. It can also complicate relationships with international allies who depend on the U.S. Navy's consistency and leadership. For a service branch preparing to celebrate its 250th anniversary, this is far from the message of stability and strength that many hope to see. Whether you see this as a necessary correction or a dangerous political takeover, one thing is clear. The Trump administration has fundamentally shifted the balance of power inside the U.S. Navy. It's a move that will be studied and debated for years to come, and its consequences are only beginning to unfold. For ordinary Americans already struggling with rising costs and a healthcare system in crisis, this latest shakeup is another reminder of how political decisions at the top can trickle down to affect lives everywhere. The Navy, like the nation itself, is now caught in the middle of a fight over control, loyalty, and the future direction of America's institutions. And as this story continues to develop, it leaves the country facing a pressing question. What price will the American people pay for these power struggles at the very top